Hi there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All, videos, educational videos channel, and we are continuing with Scratch tutorials. We are continuing with explaining Scratch blocks, and in this video we are going to explain how, when and why to use Scratch block which is named Next Costume. This video will probably be a little bit longer because we will have to explain a few other things and techniques in this video too. So let's get to Scratch as soon as possible and let's start coding as fast as we can. Okay, so in this video, as we just said, we are going to use Next Costume Scratch block. Let's find it. It's in this indigo purple or whatever it's called colors, so it's under the looks group of blocks, and it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 sixth from above, 6 from the top. So drag and drop it from left to the right to your code window, to your programming window, and before we're going to use it, I have to explain what the costume is, and not to confuse you with those new terms before we start coding. I will, by the way, I will probably begin one new tutorial section on Scratch, or maybe even two. The first one will be called something like how to in Scratch, in terms of how to use, how to make something not only connected or related to one block like we are doing now, and I will probably but doing some other stuff, and I will probably make another tutorial section named what is in Scratch what is, which will explain these smaller smaller issues in Scratch. What is, for example, what is costume, what is stage, what is sprite, and so on, which some of those I will explain now because we need them and we cannot progress without explaining them. Some of those I explained before, but for example, if I have explained what is stage or what is sprite in the first or second or third lesson and you skipped on it, you will be probably confused, and you will not know how to use it or what is it at all. So I will probably have to make a new section, tutorial section on that, but okay, let's leave it for now. That will be in near future. For now, let's concentrate on what the costume is. Okay, I've explained it in, I think, my video called editor tour, Scratch editor tour, or something like that. What these three tabs to your top left, below your menu bar, but above your Scratch blocks groups, there are three tabs. One says code, second says costumes, and I clicked on it but it's so slow now, and the third one says sounds. For now we need the second one, costumes, so please click on it, and here we we have opened now some small window in which we can see our character zoomed, and we have some buttons to click on, and those buttons I'm just clicking them randomly. Don't use them. You can click them once like I did here, but they are for altering, for editing your character, for editing and making changes on your cat in terms of drawing on it, drawing some new stuff, new looks and so on. So for example, you can change the color of the cat, you can add something new like, I don't know, hat, change the look of its eyes and so on. We're not going to explain it in this lesson, but just to know where it's used and how it's used for now. But if you look at your left and this blue border around the first image here, which is the image number 1, that underneath it says costume 1, and below that one we have the costume 2, which is numbered with the number 2. So let's click on this number 2 costumes to see what will happen, and we can see that the cat has changed from the first look. Let's click it again on costume 1. In first look, the cat is having her legs straightened up, and in the second look the cat legs are like bent over, like squeezed a little. It looks like it is running. So what does it mean? What this costume thing is at all? These costumes, they represent different looks of your character, and it means that you can add as much as you want them. We only have 2 here now, but we can have 10 of them, 50 of them, 100 of them, and they are used to represent some change in your character, in visual change. Like for example, we can have one costume. You can think of costume same as of Sprite. It's a picture, and it's a picture which shows some change of the look of your character. For example, we can have a couple of costumes which shows how our cat is shooting from the pistol, then some costume which shows our cat which is swinging a sword or throwing a stone, jumping, and so on. So in short, they are visual representation of changes of our character, and when we stack them one beneath another, it looks like they are animated. They are changing in time. I will explain animation again in some other video, because it's a skill, it's a topic of its own, and it's very complex topic. Animation is considered one of the most complex topics in graphics, in art. So, but in short, animations is when I say animation or something related to animation, you always, if you're confused with it, always remember animated movies like I don't know, Disney movies, Simpson movies, and so on. Animation, Japanese anime, and those, what are those? Those are representation again of some images which are moving on the screen. They are animated. Anime means soul. It's mean in Greek, I think, or Latin, and that means that you have given a soul, given a life to your character. So it looks like your character is alive because it's moving on the screen, and that is great for the games, because we want our characters to move. We want them to look alive, right, in our games and our animations. So let's just get back on our work, our game, and stop this distracting a lot. So for our game, let's I have chosen our costume 2, for example, instead of costume 1. Costume 1 was default, but let's try with costume 2. Select it, and let's get back to code tab, and I'm clicking on our stage now, and I will press left and right arrow, but I already see that our cat is now, instead of having straighten up legs, it has bent over legs. Squeeze them, and it looks different from our previous version where it has straighten up legs. But again, nothing moves. Our cat is legs are bent over. They are look squeezed and like not like before. But again, when I press left and right key, they're not doing anything. in terms of changing from one picture to another, from one image to another, which again, it's not looking good for us. We want the whole idea with this costume is to have it turn into animation, to change from one costume to another, and we are going to learn it soon how to do it. But for now, just let's see what it looks like. This okay, this is not looking good. I don't want the cat to look frozen in time like this. I want it to change its costume. So how am I going to do it? I will go back to costume tab, and I will select costume 1 again, and I will then go back to code tab, and I will now use the next costume. But before using it, I will snap it to when right arrow key pressed, below move 10 steps, but before using it, just read it aloud. As I have said before, if you are confused or before using some new commands and new blocks, always read what they say on the screen before using them. Scratch only does what we tell him to do, and nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. So in this case, I'm telling the Scratch to do what? When I press the right key arrow, move the cat 10 steps, and then switch to next costume. And how many times this action will perform? It will perform one time, right? If I press one time, then if I press again, what it will do? It will do it the same. It will move 10 steps, and that it will change the next costume. Okay, let's get back to costumes tab just for a second, and then we will try it. Some of you are maybe confused now. Okay, I have only 2 costumes, and then first one is costume 2, and I press the right button, and the Scratch said move to the next costume. Next costume is costume 2, right? So it will change it from 1 to 2. Great, that's what we need. But what now? When we press the right arrow key, we are on costume 2, and we don't have costume 3, right? There is no costume 3, no costume 4, no costume 5. So what the Scratch is going to do now? The good thing about this is that Scratch programmers, they already did some in some of coding behind the scenes for you. So for Scratch will actually when we again press the right key arrow which says next costume, Scratch will hop again to the costume 1 like in loop, then costume 2, and then when you come to the end, you are at the end now at the costume 2. There are no more costumes, but again, if you press costume 2, it will back again to the first one. So from the last one, it will loop to the first one, and so on and so on. As much as we use it, it will loop on endlessly. Let's try it finally. I'm sorry it took me so long to explain this, but I hope it's very, very clear now what we are doing here. I will click on the stage. I will press now right arrow key, but I will press it only once and pause. Okay, it looks great. It looks like excuse me. It looks like our cat is moving to the right and changing the shape of its legs in terms of like moving in real life. I will press it again. It straightens it, and then squeeze it, bends it over, straighten, squeeze, and so on. So it looks good, and I'm making a small pause between pressing the right arrow key, like a second or half a second. And now I will try just pressing the right arrow key, but without releasing it. I will press it for a few seconds without releasing it. And it looks like cat is moving, but it's kind of funny, and it doesn't look so bad. Maybe it can look even better. I will explain it how to do it in some of the next lessons, but for now it looks better, much better than we had before, so we will leave it like this for now. Okay, so now let's try the left arrow, and we don't have anything again. We have a frozen cat When we press right arrow it looks great, but when we press the left arrow it stays like frozen in time and stays like that. Why is that? Well, it's simple. It's that because we never ever said switch to the next costume, right? Where is our next costume here? Beneath the left arrow. There is no next costume block here, so Scratch just doesn't know. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what we are going to do it with the cat. He maybe thinks, okay, he wants it this way, so leave it this way. Who am I to do something for him if he doesn't say him? That's how programs and computers work. So we just need to copy this block next costume to the left arrow, and we can do it again in two ways, like I have explained before. Either you can click it again on your looks group of costumes, drag and drop next costume, and snap it to the one left arrow key is pressed, or you could duplicate that block if that was faster for you and snap it. It will do the same thing, so pick the one which looks easier for you and faster. Okay, let's try it now. Let's experiment how it looks on the stage. To the right, to the left, it looks great. A cat looks like it's animated, like it's moving in real life, like it's bending its knees and legs and moving its arms. It represents real life movement, and like in the real life you have to bend over your knees and legs when you move, and move your arms too, swing them around your body. That's what the cat is doing now in our game, which is great. The only problem which I see here now is that the cat is looking to the right even when she is walking to the left, which looks kind of funny, right? So for now, if you look at the cat while I'm pressing the left arrow, it goes to the left, but the cat looks in front of her. It looks to the right and it moves to the left. So this looks kind of weird. It's not a big problem or too hard to change it. We will explain it in some of the later videos because it will take us to learn some new blocks, but for now we will leave it like this. It looks kind of funny and freaky, but not so. This is not so big. It's not such a big problem or so annoying. The more annoying thing I see here is that my computer is dying and slowing down, so this cat is moving in some weirdish way. It glitches, it snaps in its movement, but it's due to my computer being tired. Not. I hope your computer is doing well. Okay, a few more things just to explain here, and we are going to end this lesson. Again, sorry if it took so long, but we have actually done a big thing now. We have actually coded our cat to move, to animate while moving. That's the whole idea of this next costume. It switches to, as we have shown, it switches to the next costume from the first to the second, and then from the second again to the first in loop. So it's used to animate your character, to animate the costumes of the images of your character, and we're going to use this block for sure for next videos and in many of our games. I'm just trying now to make my workspace a little bit more organized and cleaner and neater. Okay, that's it for now. One or two things just which we need here. Yeah, I will just go to the sprite. Backdrop, but sprite, and I will try to find some sprite, some character which has sprite which has more costumes than two. We have expanded these this sprite library or Scratch library of sprites before in our lesson, in our video Scratch Editor tour, and for now I'm not going to click these sprites. I'm just going to put my cursor on different sprites to see how many different costumes they have. So for example, if I put my cursor on the ball, I have this ball starting with yellow, and when I put the cursor on it, it will hover through its different costumes. So let's see how many costumes this ball have. So it has green as a second, pink as a third, indigo as fourth, blue as a sixth or fifth. So there is 5 or 6 different costumes for this ball. Apple, for example, doesn't change, so Apple doesn't have different costumes. So this is how you can see which sprites in Scratch are animated, only by hovering on them, putting the cursor on them, and then if the sprite which you put your cursor on is changing its pictures, its images, that means it has more than one costumes, and that means that character, that sprite is animated. So for example, let's see this champ. So for example, this champ, because it is changing its pictures in we can see that it has couple of pictures, that means it have couple of sprites. Let's click on it and choose it. It will import it in on our scene. If you have your cat selected, the blue border will be around it, so click on the champ to select the second character, and again we want to see how many costumes this character has. Where we can see that, we explained it just a few minutes before in second tab, which says costumes. Click on it, and great, we can see that now we have 7 of different sprites. Here we can pick whatever we want here, and I'm just clicking to see what this guy is doing, this kid is doing. So for example, if I want my character to start with this, or no, maybe let's start with this one. Okay, just I want my character to start with the pose like this, so I select that pose, go on the code menu, tab, and for example, I want to code this character to dance when I press some button. Let's do it. You can do it. You can pause this video here and try to do it on your own. But if you don't want, you can wait for me to do it and explain you how. But we have done it before. It's just I'm going to do it on my own, and I'm going to show you that way how it looks when the sprite has more than one costume, like we had before with cat. Just that, nothing else. Okay, so I need a controller event, right? Event block, and I need when some key is pressed, and I need the block which we learned today, which says next costume, and instead of when space key pressed, I will use, for example, some letter, let's say maybe letter D as dance. So what I'm saying to Scratch now, I'm saying I'm programming this character to do what? I'm programming this character to do, when I press the D key, switch the next costume, go to the next costume, and when I enter the characters to see how many costumes I have them 7 in total. So when I press D key, go to the next costume. What it will do. It will go from 2 to number 3 costume. From number 3, if I press again, it will go to number 4. If I press again, it will go to 5. Press again 6, press again 7. Then what will it will happen, as I explained before, 7 is the end, the last one, but the Scratch is smart enough to understand that we want more. We're saying go to the next costume. What is next? Next is 1, and so on. Let's start from the number 2, but you can pick whatever you want. Let's go to the code tab, and don't forget, as I have said before, but maybe some of you are still confused, I'm now programming this boy with the sunglasses. I'm not programming the cat. So when you want to program the cat, you have to click on the cat and program in its window. When you want to program some other character, click on that other character and put the code blocks in that character. Simple as that. But sometimes you will be confused, or you will do it on accident. Just instead of clicking on cat, you will maybe work in your second character and drop some code here, and you program and you forget that you're in character 2 instead of cat. So everything you program here is for character 2 champ, not the cat. So just be careful in which character you are when you code, when you move your scratch blocks and add new. And that's it. Let's just test this guy. So for example, if I now press the D key, it will move. It will look like he's dancing or whatever he's doing right now. I don't know. He doesn't know himself. So we're clicking it slowly, and it looks great. It looks like he's animated. And if I press it and don't release it, it looks faster and even more crazier. For now, I will leave it this way, and we have coded it to pressing the key. So for now, for example, if I press the cat to the left and the right, it look like it is moving. And if I press the D key, this guy will do its own thing. He will dance around, and so on. We will explain in later videos how to make some other complex stuff and more complex improved stuff. But for now, let's finish this lesson here, because it's already for most of you guys probably already too long. And just remember that when you want to animate your character, you will probably have to use the next costume block, and you will have to check what animations your character has, what sprites, what images it has. You will have to check it in your costumes tab. For now, that's enough for this lesson. In meantime, continue learning Scratch, programming, or whatever you like to learn, and share it with other people and your friends and whoever you know. And I will see you in next videos with more of Scratch programming and other tutorials. Thanks for your attention, and see you soon.